I remember when Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fought. Pretty good fight. Not the best fight I've ever seen. When I think about great fights, one of the ones that I always go back to is Corrales versus Castillo 1. Awesome fight. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. Pacquiao versus Mayweather didn't live up to that, right? Wasn't quite in that category. But what it was something that we knew that had to happen. It was a historical event. I mean, both of these guys were at the apex of their of the sport. Like really what they had done and their run through the divisions and all the noise they had made and the fact that they were fighting and they were in the same division and they were right there and everybody knew, like, how could you not think that fight was going to happen? How could you not want to see that fight? It was something that we knew. It was written in the stars that it had to be. Now, the problem, of course, was that it happened May 2nd, 2015. Everybody would have preferred to see that fight May 2nd, 2010. But that's how the sport goes sometimes. We don't always get exactly what we want, when we want it, how we want it, all those kinds of things. But it was absolutely massive. If I remember correctly, they did a very, I'll call it a subdued promotion for it. They didn't go on a huge press tour. They weren't going all over making these stops. There wasn't all kinds of promos that were getting made and cut and built up for it and everything because they knew they didn't have to. Nobody wanted to invest that type of money into a fight that they absolutely knew that was going to sell. It was going to be absolutely bonkers, the amount of money that fight brought in, and it did. It was ridiculous. Now, here we are, all these years later. We're sitting here, 2025, and these gentlemen are talking about potentially getting at it again. 2026, they're talking about potentially seeing a rematch between Mayweather and Pacquiao. Now, when the fight first happened, as I mentioned, it wasn't a great fight. Nevertheless, a lot of people wanted to see it again. And they wanted to see it again because there was intrigue to it. There was intrigue. Everybody knew that neither one of these gentlemen were at their absolute best. This wasn't the best that we had ever seen them fight, particularly when we're looking at Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao has this style based off of the reflexes and the speed and his ability to close the distance and all kinds of stuff, and some of his technical flaws. We all knew that his style was going to diminish more quickly than a guy like Floyd Mayweather, who's just so technically sound. And that's what we saw. By the time these guys met up, he had diminished a little bit more. So he didn't have the explosiveness and the speed and everything that really made him the Pac-Man that we knew and loved. Fight didn't look the way we wanted it to. Now, I'm not saying that Floyd wouldn't have won if they would have fought in their prime, but I'm just saying by the time they did, they had both diminished a little bit. Nevertheless, the fight did have some entertainment value, and even though Manny Pacquiao got his shoulder hurt in, 6th round, 7th round, something along those lines, he still was able to pull out like probably 4 rounds, if I remember correctly. Even Floyd himself in an interview said, I gave Manny 3 to 4 rounds. So you were talking about Manny winning 3 to 4 rounds against Mayweather with the injured shoulder at the age that he was. And that was a time when all the guys that Floyd was beating, I mean, he was winning 12 out of 12 rounds, man. 11 out of 12 rounds. He's going out there. He's blowing these dudes out of the water. So a lot of people were interested in the rematch. Now, for whatever reason, as we know, this rematch never developed. Never ended up seeing it. Both of these guys fight who they're going to fight, and they go off their separate ways, go off into retirement, coming back, exhibitions, whatever the case may be. We see all of these things going on. And we see Manny Pacquiao come back, fights Mario Barrios. I thought it was going to be a disaster. Look, I thought that Manny Pacquiao's last great fight was against Keith Thurman. What he pulled out against Keith Thurman, I thought was so impressive, because Keith Thurman was a guy who was not to be underestimated. Keith, one-time Thurman, at that point in time, was out there and he was making it happen. Okay, he was a man to be worried about when you stepped into the ring at 147 pounds. Manny Pacquiao was old. He was always an undersized guy at 147. Thought it was going to be a disaster for him. Goes out there and he gets the victory and he looks good doing it. Highly impressive. And I thought that was his last great fight. Every great fighter has one last great fight. That was his. He goes out here against Barrios, and I don't think this one's going to end well. Turns around and proves me completely wrong. Did he look like the Pacquiao from that put it on Cotto? No, he didn't. But he was still able to go out there and put it on a current belt holder at 147 pounds. Now, does that mean I want to see him step into the ring at 46 years old against a 48-year-old Floyd Mayweather? It doesn't. Honestly. Now, will I watch? Of course I will. Look, I've told people a long time ago, I've signed up for every fight. Every single one. I'm going to watch all of them. Regardless, you say they're going to be great. You say they're going to be horrible. You say it's two bums. You say it's people taking advantage of the boxing public. Whatever the case may be, I'm already signed up. I'm going to watch them all. But I'm not the guy to really judge that type of thing. Is this the fight that you want to see? When you're sitting here and you're thinking about it, is this the type of fight that you want to see? I get it, though. Because I'll tell you what, they are both going to make a killing. Rumor has it that Manny Pacquiao got paid more than $15 million for his fight with Mario Barrios. Imagine what he's going to make fighting Floyd Mayweather. Now, I don't know about you, but I was growing up, my father told me something. He said, son, I don't care how much money you make in this life, you'll always be able to use another $15 million. Lo and behold, here I am, growing up, got a little bit more information about the world. Turns out he was right. I could always use another 15 million. And I got to imagine Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather feel the same way. So the incentive by far is going to be the fact that when they're sitting there looking at each other and they're looking at the contract and they're thinking about whether or not they want to get punched in the head, man, that is a huge price tag. When there's somebody's handing you a check for that amount of money, and it's not like they're fighting, some 25-year-old phenom. They both know they're going to be fighting an older guy. Both know they're fighting a guy that they've been in there with before. So there's the familiarity factor and everything else. Look, if they can figure out a way to put this together, particularly if they were to do something like it was at the Sphere or something like that, but if they figure out a way to put this together, it's on Netflix, it's going to sell. It's going to sell a lot. People are going to love it. People are going to buy it. But how do you feel about it? When you're sitting there as a boxing fan, and we've seen all of these money grab fights go on. We've seen all of these exhibitions go on. We've seen old guys jump in the ring. We've seen YouTubers jump in the ring. We saw Floyd fought Logan Paul. I mean, what do you think about seeing this fight? And it's not like it's going to be, it could be sanctioned, right? It could be a sanctioned professional bout for sure by all means. It's not necessarily going to be an exhibition, but it's not going to be a fight where there's any real substance on the line. These guys aren't going to be fighting for a belt or anything like that, but they'll be fighting for a lot of money. It'll be a tick on the legacy. It's not like it's going to be as important as fights in the past, but people will talk about it. Let me know what you guys think.